Hi, and welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and today is a crazy day here on planet Earth. Not sure where you are watching, but thank you for tuning in. Um, the Fed has lost their mind. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to share my experience traveling back from Austin and going through my TSA pre-check experience. And I'm going to let you guys be the judge. TSA are they there for our security, or is it a shakedown? I've got some thoughts on it. I want to know what you guys have to say about it. So be right back with Public right after this. Hey, Public, how are you today?
Hello, I am good. Thank you. How are you? How was your trip? How was everything? Tell me.
Tell you. It was a great trip. We had a great conference. Did some really good networking. Got to meet some of my magical internet friends for the first time in real life, which we're going to be collaborating with. So stay tuned for some of those. I won't let the cat out of the bag about some of those interviews, but I'm really excited about several of those that we'll be sharing with. So
very cool.
Then on my return trip home, that's why I titled this one, TSA security or shakedown. You guys know that I've been harassed by them. I have pre-check status. So like I went through the process and whatever, but I continue to be harassed pretty much every time I travel. If I'm with my husband, typically I get to go through without a problem. But this time one of my close girlfriends was traveling with me, and she's like, okay, I watched you pack your bag. I know what's in your bag. We left the hotel together. We go through, and the guy scans my passport. And so you scan your plane ticket, and then they take your passport and they scan it. And then he looks at me and goes, and hands it back to me. And I was like, okay. So I walked through the thing. I was able to walk through just the one. I didn't have to go in the tube and get zapped or whatever. That was nice. And they were actually very friendly to me. That was really nice, especially the lady that I walked through the little metal detector, all that. My shoes did set it off, so I had to go back and take my shoes off, but we made jokes about it. Everybody's really friendly. Then I go through and they pull my bag, one of my bags, my purse. And I was like, he's like, whose bag is this? And goes down to the end. And I'm like, that's my bag. And my friend was traveling with me. She goes, I watched you pack your bag. And I was like, I'm used to it, So we go over there, and I'm like, there's no fluids in my bag. I know what's in my bag. He's like, no, you're traveling with it looks like you're traveling with a lot of jewelry. I'm in Austin, and I'm traveling to Oklahoma City. And I didn't even think about, because I've traveled out of the country before, and then when you come back, you have to go through customs. But I was in Austin, Texas, going to Oklahoma. And so it's not illegal to travel with a lot of jewelry. I wasn't traveling with a lot of jewelry, but so let me fast forward. We're going through, and he's like, don't touch the bag, ma'am. Don't touch the bag. I'm like, well, if you'll just unzip this. I said, if you'll tell me what you're looking for, I can help you find. And I said, there's 5 little bracelets with pink little stones on them, but it's not anything expensive that I didn't wear back home. There's 5 little bracelets in there. They might have fake metal on them. They're not even real silver bracelets mixed in with pink metal. They're just cute. And then he's like, no, there's a lot of jewelry in here and coins. well, I'd like change, but I even like removed a bunch of coins from my purse. And I'm still like not understanding why I'm being detained and this whole bit. And so finally I had a Litecoin silver coin in a plastic container, and it was right next to a compact that my mom had given me from my grandmother that had mother of pearl on the front. And I guess maybe the compact is silver because it's so old. And so that density or that much metal together, but it's like this big. In fact, let me have it right here. Let me see if I have it with me. Maybe in my other bag. It's in my other bag. So this led me to thinking about my friend that was traveling with me travels for work a lot. She's in and out of airports, and she's traveling. She goes, yeah, the whole TSA thing never really made sense to me, because if you think about it, was put in place after, large buildings in New York fell down. We'll be careful with our words.
Right.
And she's like, but those were because supposedly those planes were taken over by men with knives and things like that.
Right. And then we remove our shoes because the idiot tried to light a shoe on fire. And
I never heard that story. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, why do we take our
shoes
shoes off? And what does it have to do with 3 ounces of, and I can have how many of these 3-ounce bottles of whatever, but it has to be in 3-ounce bottles. Like, it's such a mind,
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, well, we're going to have them look at, this is a list of things we're looking for. We're looking for 3-ounce liquids. And this is this, make sure you don't have liquids. Do you have batteries? Whatever. Da, da, da. And it's like, you let me walk through with my phone that has a battery, and we travel with chargers all the time, which is basically a battery. They never say a thing about it. They're not really looking for what they're telling you on the list.
In fact, the batteries have to be on your person. They're not allowed to be in your checked bag.
Which, that's even weirder. That doesn't make any sense at all if they're so dangerous. So now I'm thinking, if you think about the timing of this, of course, it's always look over there, don't look over there. So we're looking for fluids and whatever, but what are they really looking for? So if we think about what was really underneath those tall buildings, and the reason they took the buildings down was to remove the gold that was underneath those buildings, and to have an excuse to remove the gold underneath those buildings.
Right.
And
to bring upon the Department of Homeland Security, which did not exist before that.
Yes. And what is the purpose of that? To put that in place so that then they could, because they could also, to control the people, you have to get freedom money out of their hands. They can't be able to transact without going through the government. They have to go through the government to transact to be able to control the people. Okay. So you have to get rid of coins at all, right? Why is there a coin shortage? They tell you it's because of COVID, but where did the coins go?
Okay. They gave some excuse. COVID? No, they said that about the paper money. They said that about paper money.
That they burned it?
I don't know. That people stopped accepting the paper money for a while.
So right now there's a metal shortage and a coin shortage. Mm-hmm. And everywhere we go, there's coin shortage, coin shortage, coin shortage. He was so concerned with me having metal and coins. And so my critical thinking kicks in, and I'm like, they are not worried about how much fluid I have in my. And then, did you guys ever watch those videos or those shows where they did the Stranded in the Airport live, and how they watch people at the TSA airport, whatever, 24 hours at TSA, and they watch people coming into the country, and they basically, like, if you can't prove that you pay taxes or whatever, or that was old jewelry from your family or whatever, they just take it. So how do you get freedom money before Bitcoin? So let's think about when those buildings went down and all that stuff happened, there wasn't Bitcoin yet, right?
Correct.
So we need people to be, the bad people would want the people not to have another option. They would not want people to have gold or silver. So they have to get it out of their hands. They have to get it out of the system. So they have, through banks and businesses doing business with banks, They could get most of the coinage out of the system.
Okay. Which is constitutional money.
Which is constitutional money, right? They could get businesses to turn it in, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's coin shortages because they're taking the coins away, right?
Okay.
But how do you get the coins away from the individuals who might be holding coins or have coins? Well, if they're traveling and they have coins in their possession, you shake them down through TSA.
Something's on fire. Something's on
on
fire somewhere.
Yeah. I hope you're safe.
I'm good. Oh, it's not my building, I don't think. No, I think I'm good.
Anyway, just really had my wheels spinning because Sean is actually who brought this up to me. I was telling him about my experience after yesterday's show. We turned the show off, and then, we always visit a little bit. And I told him about it, and he goes, "Wait, carrying, why didn't you ask, is that illegal to have a lot of jewelry?" And I was like, when you're in that position and they're in authority and you're just like,
yeah, you're just like, you want to get to your flight.
I want to get to my flight, and I know I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm just like, look, what do you need to find? Look at my bag. What are you doing? And then he's like, what? And then I start thinking about all this, and I'm like, that's how you get the rest of the money out of the system, the freedom money, the gold and silver out of the system, so that they can then launch their version of digital currency and control the people. Right? See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know people who travel. Every time they travel with a roll of silver eagles and a gold coin, just to be sure when they're traveling in case something goes down and they got to get home. I know people have traveled with that for many, many times. This one guy I know years ago got stopped in California coming out with a roll of silver eagles, and they asked him. They found it in the scanner, and they actually, before they unzipped the bag, they said, "Oh, you have some silver coins," and they were like, "Yeah," and then they said, "Where did this come from?" And the guy says,
"None of your damn business."
Well, I mean, the guy was just like, "Oh, well, I was at a coin show," and they're like, "Oh, okay." And they looked at it. They wanted to open up the tube and look inside and make sure there was nothing else in there. That's crazy.
But that is crazy because they're not looking for something dangerous. They're looking for coins and jewelry.
Yeah.
And freedom, things that you could barter and trade.
So now what if you were wearing that stuff? What if you were like my daughter wears 7 bracelets on one hand, and that's just the thing to do now. What if you were wearing it? For example, are there different ways where you could possibly get things of value?
Well, so I was kind of dressed up
out into other areas. I'm just saying, are there different ways of doing this? I don't know.
I don't know what the dollar limit is. Somebody has told me before that if you're traveling with X number of dollars, they can confiscate anything above a certain amount that you can't.
What if you're wearing a piece of jewelry that's worth the one pair, or what if some of these engagement rings are $30,000 or $40,000 these days?
Yeah,
are they looking for
ring
that?
or whatever? No, I think they're looking for yeah, but wedding rings, and it is when you first buy it, but then when you go trade it in, it's worth nothing.
That's true, but there are other ways of getting. I mean, if you have to do such a thing, there's ways.
You might stand out if you did something like that.
I don't know. I'm just saying. This is really weird.
I'm just a baller. That's how I travel.
I mean, some of these like a Royal Oak AP or the brick, the AP bricks these days, they're $120,000, $130,000. You can get a Richard Mille or a what's the other one? Yeah, that just looks like a plain black band gold watch, and they're $250,000. Are they going to start confiscating this stuff? Is this things that we have to be worried about? I don't know.
Or is this just once again, is this bringing it to the attention of the people and say, and the only reason this is really, all of this is coming together
really crazy.
For me, and it is really crazy. So you guys, do you know about the Yellowstone being closed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's been a little bit of development on that.
Okay.
Now there are rock slides. So what do you bet we're going to have? Do you remember a few months ago when we did the show where there was an article about the park ranger being ordered to tell the Treasury where the gold is in Yellowstone? Do you remember us doing that story? Okay.
That wasn't even that long ago, was it?
It wasn't that long ago. It was a few months ago or something. It was not that long ago. Then we have this, automatically Yellowstone's closed because of flooding. And now there's rock slides. What do you want to bet they're like uncovering or finding that gold?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's this story. Share screen.
That's disturbing that they're bothering people for having jewelry. Like, what woman doesn't travel with some jewelry? Like, seriously.
Well, I didn't even have any. I mean, I had my grandmother's compact and a Litecoin silver round, and that's what they were like giving me crap about.
So when they found
how desperate are they at that point? Do they almost have all the coinage out of the system? Like, are we that close to them? They're about to roll out that CBDC because they know they've almost got as much of the coinage out of the system. They've got as much constitutional money as they can out of the system. If you believe the bad guys are in control, which I don't. I believe this is just they're showing you what they were going to do. But
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because if you've been to a coin show, you walk into your average, even a small little coin show at a VFW on a Sunday, millions of dollars of coins in those. Millions of dollars. And it's not like big and lavish. It's just little old, 85, 90-year-old men sitting there with their coin collections trading. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so then let's piggyback on this. Now, this story comes up today or yesterday. Let's see. No, I guess it was a couple of days ago. I just saw it, though. June 11th. Colombian naval officials conducting underwater monitoring of the long-sunken San Jose galleon have discovered 2 other historical shipwrecks nearby. Let's see. This Jose galleon, blah, 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 ship sank during battleships of the War of Spanish Succession, carrying a treasure that would be as much as 17 billion. There's a theme today, if you guys don't know. 17 billion sank in near Colombia, Caribbean port of Cartagena. Wow. So then they go on to show some of this, and there's some gold right there.
Damn, I've always wanted to go find I've been fascinated ever since I saw the Goonies. And there was that pirate ship that had all the gold, and I just fell in love with the whole idea of that.
Okay, so we've got Yellowstone. Oh, even the Yellowstone article had a 17 in it.
So wasn't there just an article that came out? I think we sent it to you. I sent it to you. You sent it to me, whatever it was, where a mining company said that they literally found, or you mentioned that last week, that literally found a lost city of gold.
Yeah, that was last week. Mm-hmm.
So go look through that and look for some.
And
numbers.
Then also that we have the issue with the Fed just raised rates 75 basis points. And in what I heard them talking about, he said we can anticipate being up to as much as 4% by the end of the year before it can level out for inflation. So keep all these things in mind. Also, Celsius, if you guys are familiar with Celsius and that, where did I see that article? I think it's on my Twitter feed. So Celsius had a...
Jim Montgomery, no to that answer. I don't think they are. I think their union kept that away from them.
Where did I see that? It's this one. Hold on. I'll have to share this with myself.
As well as postal workers. They were not required also.
Who is this?
Jim Montgomery had a question. I read an article about that not too long ago.
So I can put it on the screen so everybody else can see it.
It's the fourth or so one up, fifth one up from the bottom. But now they're flying in. It's yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think they are. I think they were exempt or by choice, maybe.
Probably not. Just like the White House people didn't have to be. Okay, so then this article,
and the postal workers, they weren't required. Their unions kept that from them.
also has
Oh, and Lisa's gone. She clicks the wrong button and poof, she's gone. So yeah, so I don't I don't know where she was going with that one, so I can't kind of fluff it right now. But there is, oh, there you are, you're back.
Sorry.
I was planning on being solo for a minute.
Sorry. Hold on one sec. So this is talking about the Celsius thing. I think a lot of you guys have heard about it, but in this article, Bitcoin plunges as major crypto lender halts its operations. So Celsius, with roughly 1.7 million customers and more than $10 billion in assets. Now remember that yesterday, so there's a lot of these numbers that are repeating. The article about finding 17 billion worth. They're also talking about, so here then in Celsius, 10 billion in assets. Well, what just came back into the United States Treasury from yesterday? We did an article on it. I don't know if I still have that article. The loans that were given out during the Great Infection. So there were some bad loans that have now been returned magically. And I'm not saying that Celsius had anything to do with that, but I'm saying they may have taken, there's funds moving around in different places that Peter may be robbing from Paul. I don't
That's
know
kind of the way it goes.
Yeah, this is Woo Woo Wednesday. I don't have any inside information of that, but those are my own questions or curiosities. I'm not sure what's going on.
We just kind of make it up as we go along these days. There's nothing factual. Don't listen to us. We're out of our mind. Listen to my friends and family. They've been calling me absolutely crazy for years and years years.
These are what ifs, but based with information that you guys can do your own critical thinking and put it together yourself.
It's about starting the process of thinking. That's all it is.
Yes, think for yourself. Okay, so we talked about Yellowstone. I got the shipwreck, the wonderful TSA experience, the basis points. Okay, so I pretty much blasted through that. There's just so much of that all tying together. And then, yeah, and even on that Celsius thing, it was down 17%. Like, there's just a lot of, like, how much of this is all 17 million customers, roughly down 17%. A lot of it feels very calculated.
Yes, I would absolutely agree. Boy, the chat is jumping. You guys are just having awesome conversations in there. I learn half the stuff of what I learn is from chats. I mean, you guys are great. Thank you.
Charlie G likes my Great Infection.
Charlie G is such a nice guy. Oh, he's got a Litecoin shirt on in his little profile picture there.
Yes.
Matching. Broskies.
Yeah. Great taste. So anyway, I think it's very interesting when I was just putting that together. Like I said, my friend that I was traveling with, she's like, it really doesn't make sense to me that the way that the reason that they told us they started TSA was because the airplanes were getting hijacked, and then, but we can't bring water bottles on the plane now. Like, it had nothing to do with it. And
it's about squeezing. It's about control. I think it's a lot about how this great thing that we're dealing with now started and how it continued. Is I honestly believe that they're seeing what they can get away with. They're seeing how they can do what they want and get away with it? Who's going to go along? How many people are going to go along with it mindlessly, without thinking, without questioning? And I just think this is, just another piece of it. I mean, the whole thing with the large buildings, that was what they used to create the Department of Homeland Security, which then supersedes and took over every single other agency. Well, there's a couple that are real kind of out there that we don't really know that much about, but the majority of the agencies that everybody knows, they took over, and they have control over all that now. When one of the agencies goes out to do something, they have watchers or monitors who are with, this other Department of Homeland Security. This is, it's just another control mechanism.
I think it's very interesting. So for me, it just all kind of goes together, and I still believe the good guys are in control. Although I'm telling you this, I think it's showing what the plan was, or showing what has been happening over these years. But then if you look at, I think it really brings to light, like, if they, whether it was the good guys or the bad guys, took Celsius down or halted Celsius or whatever's happening there, then they're putting 17, 17, 17 in it. And they're telling you, I think Corey Swan has a quote in this that says, look, it's just another run on the banks. Just like Terra. Let's see, where's his quote?
Well, it's called the Great Awakening for a reason, right? It's not just some flashy word. Yeah, we are. So this is the greatest awakening on Earth in the history of this world, where people are becoming awake and understanding what's going on and how things work.
Well, and like Sean said, paper money is an experiment. It only started in 1913 when a bunch of private bankers got together and decided that they were going to be the government's money, and then everybody just went along with it like little sheeple. Yep. But before that, we had freedom money that was in coins and bartering, and that was our money. And
well, there was paper money before that, but it wasn't Federal Reserve.
Okay.
Notes. Right.
So it wasn't promissory notes. It was actual US dollars, right?
It was United States dollars, and it was backed 1-to-1 in the bank. Right. There was only as much currency put out as there was held in reserve, and it was very, very strict. Okay. And we almost got beat on a few wars and a few financial things and debt, and wars couldn't be fought. That's why they used to have war bonds and things like that. Wars couldn't be fought because you just couldn't get credit and go build 1 million bombs and tanks and go to war. You actually had to get the money from somewhere. You couldn't just print it, or these days it's not even that. It's just adding zeros on the end of an account in a computer, and there you go. Right. It was a problem. It was a big problem for those that wanted to run the system. You had to. There was only so much, and that's just how it worked. There was never more than there was. There was never more paper money than there was actual gold in the bank.
Thus, they privatize it, and then they get to write their own rules. So now what I'm seeing is that they're showing you what happened and how, and that's what Corey says here. This was yet another bank run. You're not reinventing anything here. They were promoting their services as better savings account, but in the end, you're just another unsecured lender. Mm-hmm. Says Corey Clipston, CEO of Swan Bitcoin. So,
as we recently found out about Coinbase as well, Coinbase is right. Fractionalized. It's fractional. There's not nearly as much that they hold. They credit your account before they actually have the cryptos, and that's a thing that just came. What did that come out a couple of weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm. So, with that said, this is exposing this to people that it is important to hold your own assets in your own possession. Just that is freedom money, and your freedom money can be your Bitcoin if you have that in your own possession. If you have it in a wallet, in your possession. If you have silver, in your possession. If you have a paid for vehicle, in your possession. Whatever those things are in your possession, that's what you own. If you don't hold it, you don't own it.
Mm-hmm. True. So, now, definitely more than ever.
I think that's what they're trying to show us. And I know people scream, not your keys, not your coins, but I really want people to like slow down and hear the story why.
Right.
And
It's not just a catch. It's not just some catchy catchphrase. It's facts. Slow it down, say it, understand what it means, and then take action on that.
And understand how calculated they were willing to knock buildings down and then have a plan, wasn't it the 16-year plan to remove all the freedom money? And I believe that TSA was part of that plan, one little piece to shake you down as you walk through and take your jewelry or your coins or whatever it is that gave you freedom that wasn't in their system. And so that then they could roll out their CBDCs, which reminds me, what have I been saying forever about going to be blackout? They're going to use a blackout.
Oh yeah.
Did I transfer that story up here? Oh, where is it? Did I send you the?
Well, everything has to shut down to start over again. It doesn't just morph into something else. Everything shut down, start up again, new system running. I think it would be too chaotic, too devastating to the world to have to try and do a slow transition over into something new while breaking away from the old at the same time.
So there is
suffering. It'd be too difficult on everybody.
Yeah. Who did I send that to?
You sent me something.
Did I send you the flare thing and the blackouts coming?
Yeah, that was the most recent one, or one of the more recent ones you sent. Yeah, there was just a major
solar flare eruption
that lasted like longer than
3 hours.
Yeah, which is crazy. Which could account for a lot of the seismic activity in Yellowstone and places like that. Well, volcanoes are very sensitive to that. Not to mention our communication systems, our health, everything. It's everything on Earth is affected by it.
So, that is sending to my other. There it goes. Let me share this with you guys. I've been saying that they're going to do this, and they're going to say, "Oh, or they're going to use a hack or something, and they're going to say, "Oh, your bank accounts don't have anything because of a hack or because of a flare or because of an outage or whatever." Don't worry. Download this app and we'll restore you, but it's going to be with the CBDC. So now is the time to have other assets in your possession, because once that hits,
it's already too late.
Yeah, it's too late. Anything you buy from that point will be bought with that CBDC. So any income that comes in, anytime you get paid by your boss, whatever, if you try to buy freedom money after that, it's bought with that money, unless you go through MWeb, unless you buy it through with Litecoin. So this says solar flare eruption lasted for 3 hours. This was yesterday. So they're talking about on Monday, June 13th. A solar flare eruption from the sun, which lasted for 3 hours, released a vast amount of charged particles in the form of solar radiation. As a result, a geomagnetic storm and a radio blackout are likely to strike Earth again, causing disruption to radio frequencies. So
they're telling you ahead of time. So when it happens, you're like, oh, it's just a solar flare. It's no big deal.
Yeah, and you will be issuing the NOAA is going to be issuing a geomagnetic storm watch for Wednesday, June 15th. That's today, guys.
Yay.
So the prolonged solar storm has been estimated to generate substantial amount of particles to damage our planet's communication and GPS system technologies, which have been affected in previous events. Radiation storms primarily threaten biological organisms. Magnetic storms and blackouts affect aircraft, devices, and equipment which rely on technology where radio and satellites are grounded. This made possible as outbursts from solar activities disrupt the planet's magnetosphere. In recent months, solar flares and coronal masses ejections have resulted in several cases of technological disruption in different parts of the world, including Australia, Asia, and Europe. Let's see.
Very interesting that this is all happening now.
It's
There's a
all
lot
happening now.
going on right now. I mean, it's all there.
Well, if we look at the dates, yesterday was DJT's birthday. It was also Flag Day. It was the 245th Flag Day, which he was the 45th president.
Mm-hmm.
It was also the Army's birthday. So I think that's pretty significant in itself. Monday was the 13th. That was going to be our Black Monday. I think that was the red wave. I was seeing a lot of promoted tweets about red wave. I think that's this stock market falling, crashing. 13th Monday was when this disturbance launched, right? And it's supposed to hit us by the 15th. So today.
Okay.
So
there's always
follow up with Friday is the 17th. And we always have big stuff on the weekends.
Historically, the exciting things do happen on a Friday or a Monday, generally a Friday. I really don't know what to make a lot of this. The information's there, but there's so much. I really don't know what to make of a lot of it. I know if you have the mindset of being prepared and self-reliant and holding your assets, that's where you start. And if something happens or when something happens, you're as prepared as you can be. Food,
we've already
water,
heard
medications, all
talks
these
about the Bank of Japan going down. Remember when I was seeing the promoted tweet about the panda, and they were watering or spraying the panda and then knocking down the bottles and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Did I send that one to you?
I believe so.
So.
That was a fluff answer because I don't remember.
You don't remember.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget about the happy hour.
You get a pass.
I really want to go. I can't get away. I can't get away for this one. Next one. I'll be at the next one.
We will be streaming live on the Friday happy hour show. So, but we'd love to see people in person. So you get big Clint Westwood big hugs, and I'll be there giving hugs and passing out. I talked to Satoshi Shanam and be giving away some more copper that he gave me. And also I've got one silver coin to bring.
If she doesn't get it snatched from her.
Well, we're driving, so I'll be safe.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, did you know that the technology in those scanners can actually read your DNA?
In the pod ones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've heard that.
Yep. It reads it, stores it, holds it, sends it somewhere. Somebody does something with your information. Sure. I've always been under the opinion that if that were to be true, what are they looking for? Why do they need to look at your DNA? I think they're looking for specific types of DNA for specific things. I don't think it's just merely to look and to monitor. There's actually some reports I've read that the scanner can actually rearrange or insert things into your DNA.
Well, they have that CRISPR technology.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're able to.
And I heard a story somewhere, that people who go through the TSA, through the thingy, a lot of people are getting sick afterwards.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, and like sick, like within 10 minutes, you're having issues in your head, and like something's wrong. You don't feel good. Yeah,
I had like a sinus infection by the time I landed.
There's some nasty toys out there that people have and groups have that we're not aware of how it works. It's also 5G. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's made with 5G technology. So if we think it's bad holding, one of these, where everyone's worried about 5G, imagine what a big, giant, superpowered one can do. What's it doing?
I'm sure it's something
causing malignancy and cells in the future. Can they see who's been poked once you walk through one of them? I believe so.
That's the other thing that's being brought out to light, I think. I mean, people are not as dumb, I don't think, as they wanted us to be. So I think that people are going to catch on to this. You notice on this tube, it says HIV. And this says that STD rates are exploding among Oklahoma's senior population.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't go out to bars a lot in Oklahoma, but when we go out of town, like we'll go out and have a few drinks and run around with our friends or whatever. But I was talking to my daughter, they're in that stage of life where they're going out with their friends. And I'm like, do you see a lot of old people out hooking up and, partying, and what's going on? What's the late night scene? I really don't think that there is a big rise in senior citizens out tearing up the town and hitting it.
Nope.
I'm guessing that most likely they have something else more in common, and that's to be, good little citizens and listen to their doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, those rates are exploding. All of those STD things are exploding. We spoke about that, going on 2 years ago now. There was reports coming out that it's in there, and it's one of the ways. And I think it's been admitted.
But that was conspiracy theory at this point.
At this point,
this is like, this is really like that was conspiracy theory, Now this is in like a major like news article.
Yep.
Fox 23 Tulsa KOK.
There you go. So all the pieces are there.
This.
Yeah, all the pieces are there. It's up to us to put them together, because mainstream is not going to put it together for you. They're going to give you little bits and pieces of everything. And, I don't think this has been any different for decades now. I think most of the information has been spread around out there. We just didn't know to put it all together.
Well, and it wasn't being released in official, what the general public would call, valid news.
Yeah. Hey, what's your source, Lisa? What's your source? Is it real? What's your source? Now
that we have blockchain, they can go back on Odyssey and see that we were talking about it 2 years ago and trying to tell people. But
is there a link down there to Odyssey with all of our old stuff on it? I mean, I would love to go back and watch some of that stuff from 2 years ago and see how accurate we were saying what's going to happen, where this directions are
There's
going.
2 channels on Odyssey, because when you have an old channel, and then I don't know if this is my 3rd channel on YouTube. I think
it's your 3rd. Yeah.
So I have at least 2 on Odyssey that I linked. So I'd have to go find them, but I think they're connected on Odyssey. But you might have to go up, if you find like Coin Lisa on Odyssey, you might make sure check, because I think they're tied together. But one of them has all the old stuff, and then one of them starts from this last time I got kicked off.
Right, which was sometime last September or so, if I remember right.
Well, I got put in timeout for a week, like a month ago, and then before that, it was like December. No, that was a timeout too in December, and then so it was before that. It may have been September. I don't remember. Maybe summer. I don't know.
But again, this is just crazy conspiracy theories we're talking about. There's no fact here. We're just making stuff up as we go along, right?
Absolutely. Everybody
Sometimes
do your own research.
Track record.
Think for yourself. And I'd love to know what everybody's thoughts are on the TSA thing. Shakedown or security? So if you're watching this, in the comments, let me know if you think it's a shakedown or security. Is it done to protect you, or is it done to get more information or to take your things away?
Mm-hmm.
I think we covered
control,
mostly everything.
Control, just another way to get people to go along and do what they're told.
Yeah. Other than my Citizen Cope albums, that was the other thing I was going to go over.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that. I heard you mention it the other day. I'm not familiar with that at all.
How do you guys not know Citizen Cope?
I live in New Jersey, and I work too much, and I have 3 little girls I'm taking care of.
I know, but they're from when I was much younger.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. Oh, wait. Ooh. This one is one that you'll love this. Westwood shared this with me after Friday's show. He's like, oh, did you ever see this? He's like, visit the Red Fall. Gas is cheap. So I was saying, like, I was seeing all those promoted tweets about the red that I was believing was red wave. And I was like, oh, that's the crash. It's going to happen this week. And then Monday, it all started. And then look at this. So Xbox posts this. And look at this.
Yeah,
and
what
then
the heck is that?
it's the solar flare I just read to you.
Wow.
And it says, visit Redfall. The gas is cheap. So will the solar flare come and the gas will go down? Is that what that means?
I don't know. That's interesting. And even if that was the sun behind that, that's too large.
It's too large. I think that's the solar flare.
Well, there are, I mean, right, all that stuff is just frequencies and electrical stuff. There are some cameras that catch those things all the time. It's as Uncle Cliff said, they're no longer taking the image and putting it onto film. It's going through computer chips and microprocessors, and they can take out wavelengths or frequencies in the processors before it gives you the actual picture of it. So there's a lot of things on there that you will never see, and they take those things out on purpose. That's why, was it like in the late 80s and early 90s when the first generation of digital cameras came out, people were picking up stuff all the time. Uncle Cliff tells the stories about the red night vision goggles and how they used to like see demons and stuff like that. And then it was just the frequencies and the wavelengths that were being captured.
So this is Citizen Cope. This is actually an album cover, except that they've painted in the red. And I was like, why'd they paint that red? And then they put June 15th.
Interesting.
So I thought, oh man, Wednesday's going to be huge crash. That'll be the red wave, or it'll be the red wave like the island with the blue stripes stuff information would come out maybe. I didn't know. Then these are the really cool ones. So there's this awesome song called Pablo Picasso. And
yes, Jim,
like,
I do. She's pretty cool. Sorry.
I can't see when I'm looking at the other page. So I don't
Jim
know
Montgomery said Public has the coolest mom.
Yes, we love Public's mom and my mom.
Yes, everyone's got cool moms.
Everyone has cool mom, and I'm a cool mom.
I think my mom and your mom would really hit it off.
Oh yeah,
they're like two peas in the same pod.
Yeah, that would be so much fun. Like that when we can all get everybody together. Yeah, that'll be pretty awesome.
The Granny Nana convention.
Yes. So look at this album cover.
Rona. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh Lord. Look at this album cover. So the way this song goes, it says, the woman that I love, she's 40 feet tall. She's a movie star. She's all in the papers. She's the only one I love. And it's supposed to be about like a homeless guy who's in love with the what's it called? Statue of Liberty. And he's like, if you try to come to take me away from her, like it's going to be bad, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But this is almost like, see how there's chains or something, like being freed, and she's walking off the platform. But she kind of looks like Melania, is what my husband said. He's like, look, she looks like a badass. She looks like Melania. So maybe June 17th, she's walking out of New York. Then check this one out. Look at the DC one.
Ooh.
That one was a little, the swamp impaled on ISIS, thing. Like, is it getting rid of this? Because wasn't that, what's the story on this lady, my brains.
ISIS?
No. Help me, I just said it.
The Statue of Liberty?
Statue of Liberty. First of all, there's rumors that she's really a man.
And ancient evil deity. After a man. Sure, an ancient evil deity watching over the people.
So will she be then destroyed on Saturday in the swamp
I didn't think
will
about
be
that.
done. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't think about that being impaled in that picture. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And
I
doesn't
don't
that
know.
kind of look like the Titanic back there?
It does. In the water, and as above, so below. You see the reflection there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so much symbolism and stuff. It's becoming so much more clear. I had a friend send me a picture the other day. They were watching. Let me pull that up real quick. They were watching SpongeBob, and his daughter goes, "What's that?" And she looked and she says, and she took a screenshot of it and said, "Dad, look. Wait till you see this." So, anybody who knows SpongeBob, there's Mr. Krabs, and Mr. Krabs was in the scene here, and he was spinning it was a paper, and he was spinning it around, and look at the middle of the paper. It's got that star in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that star. It's got that star in there. And then it was just it only showed as it was spinning. It's just more symbolism. I saw that and I was like, oh man, SpongeBob too. But it's everywhere.
Crazy.
It's everywhere. It really is.
So crazy. Yeah. Anyway.
We just have to pay attention. We have to look. Yes, SpongeBob. My girls love that. It's like they don't even watch it. They just put it on when they're not doing anything. And like they just, I don't know, it's just on. It's like
mindless.
Yeah, background music or whatever.
Right. But then frequencies, all that kind of stuff, that can be bad. Anyway, so I'm just telling you, like, there's some stuff going down. I think they're trying to show it to you all. And we're I want you guys to let me know what your thoughts are. But I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens on the 17th and the 18th this weekend. And then I think these next two, I think June is going to be really interesting. The last 2 weeks of June to see what rolls out. Are we in a situation where, you know, the geomagnetic thing happened and we all are, you know, sorry, my grand dog is screaming. I don't know if you can hear her.
Grand dog.
Yes. She's very excited because her mother came home.
Well, there's a lot of different places where information is coming from saying this summer is going to be pretty crazy. One of my most reliable and proven is Uncle Cliff, of course. And he's pretty adamant that stuff is just going to continue to unravel and really go off the rails this summer. Among the psychics, among the business people, among the financial people on TV, among just the average person, it was like, you know, this is all coming to a head now.
Yeah.
And
well, so for me and us, we were talking this through, like, as a family, is this the time to panic and try to sell something that at a high and then, oh, well, it's going to crash, so then you could buy back low? Like, to me, this is a time to be calm-headed and be grateful that we knew and we've had eyes to see for a long time and had an opportunity to accumulate and hodl. And now you have more opportunity. There will be blood in the streets. That's a saying in finance. I'm not threatening violence in any or encouraging violence in any way. But there will be opportunities where you may be able to scoop some great deals up. So accumulate and hodl, and we'll see everybody on the other side. So
that's true, isn't it? Though I always like to point out when people are talking about that, aren't you doing that? Like, in doing that, aren't you just chasing more dollars? And isn't that what we're trying to get away from? Isn't that just continuing to play their game? Isn't having the assets that you have, knowing
that's what I'm saying is purchase, you'll have an opportunity to scoop up some assets. So like if you have your assets of,
well, I meant as far as selling, just,
oh yeah, no,
I don't think
I'm not interested in having dollars right now with the exchanges going down the way they are. You know, Binance refusing to trade Litecoin because of MWeb. the Celsius thing going down, what we saw with Coinbase, even you put your coins on there, you don't know. You might get off. I mean, it's like running across the highway and, 5 o'clock traffic. You might get across. Good luck with that.
You want to take that chance?
Yeah. I'm not taking
believe
that
so.
chance.
No,
I don't believe so. I think
things are coming to a head. And,
Yeah.
and you know what? You could just feel it too. You could just feel just things are getting worse and worse and worse. I don't know if you've got to run. I got a quick story. So I was speaking with a friend the other day, and they are a teacher up in Jersey here, which is very weird. They're up in a far more rural part. There's all mountains and forests up there. It's not Jersey at all. There's like, miles between houses and 100-acre farms or 300-acre big. This is for Jersey. Jersey's a tiny little state, and have a couple 100-acre farm. You're doing really great. So the schools, striking story about where we are in life right now. They actually have in one of the high schools up there, litter boxes in the bathrooms because some students want to identify as cats and dogs. I called BS. I said, there's no freaking way. It's true. It's true. Yep. Yeah. They're encouraging this stuff. And I was told principal doesn't like it. The teachers don't like it, but they have to. Just like with the diapers, and just like if you go into the school and you don't wear your diaper over here, the state's going to come take your money. It's the same kind of game, man. It's the same.
They're not still doing that where you are.
No, they're not still doing that, but the game has shifted. Okay. It shifted from that into this. Now you have to have all this crazy crap going on.
Tampons in the boys' bathroom.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Do you know? Get this one. So we all went on overnight school class trips back in the day. I think the first one was maybe 6th or 7th grade. There was one in 8th grade. There was one in high school.
I never did that.
So what? Get this, right? If you on a Friday say, well, today I'm going to identify as a girl and you're a boy, you can room with the girls. They can't tell you no. They aren't allowed to question you. Do you know why? Because it would be against your free will. This is actually happening now. I'm not fluffing it up. I'm not exaggerating. This is actually happening right now.
That's insane.
And nobody knows. Nobody knows. Parents don't know.
Well,
nobody
and that's
knows.
the problem, is that the parents don't know because it's things that happen at school. The administrators they don't let you know. It's like when they put in that testing center at my son's elementary school, they specifically waited until 5 days before school started. The guy even told me that he hid it from his own wife who worked in the building because they didn't want anybody to give any pushback. So they strategically hide things. They use confidentiality. They abuse confidentiality to be able to hide things from you so they can manipulate and, have contracts and do things and let things happen behind the scenes. And then the kids don't know to go home and tell their parents because, well, the people in authority are allowing it and it just is what it is. Well, we didn't know to tell you that, and they didn't know that a little boy was going to show up in the girls' bunk room for the night,
Right. No,
at that point, it's too late.
Yep. Apparently, what I'm figuring out now is a lot. There's a lot more than this going on. I think the children in the schools are so embarrassed by a lot of them, that they're not even telling the parents. It's become an uncomfortable situation to bring up to your parents these days. I believe that that's true. So, I mean, they're abusing everything to do this. They're doing harm and things to the children's detriment in order just to keep the money flowing. Because like I said, it's shifted from no diapers, no face diapers, no state money. And our ugly governor here in New Jersey actually was proud and was saying that if you're not doing this, we're going to take your money from you. It's shifted. It's quietly shifted onto this next thing now.
I loved, speaking of government money coming in and who's funding that, Sean said on Tuesday, maybe it was when we were on another show together. It might have been last Thursday. I'm not sure which day. He said it might have been last Thursday on the World Blockchain Roundtable. He said, I vote that we start calling it public, what do you call it? Government schools. He said, because, it's kind of like we need to say what it is. So it sounds a little more truthful and unsatisfying. Kind of like when you think about, would you like government cheese or would you like to have regular cheese or private cheese? Or would you like to make your own cheese? Well, no one really wants government cheese,
Right.
Well, do you want government schools? Because that's what they are.
Oh, yeah.
They're government schools. And if they don't abide by the government rules and mandates, they don't get the funding to run the government school.
Yep. You see, back in my day, I thought schools were run by the superintendent,
And
the principal,
PTA.
the PTA. I thought that's who run the
Yeah.
schools. They are
It's all about
shocked
the funding.
by what they're being forced to do right now.
Mhm.
They truly are, and they have to, and they've even made it here in Jersey where if they don't follow the rules and if they say something. One more quick story. So there's a little little boy in one of the classes who whips it out the back of the class and starts taking care of business. The teachers, yeah, true story. The teachers are not allowed to tell him to stop. This is where we are. This is happening.
Indecent exposure or whatever.
You can't go against his free will. No, Lisa, this is his free will. You can't do that.
No,
this is where we're at.
That's a criminal act. That's not free will. It may be free will, but it's a criminal act.
It's all what somebody calls it. If somebody calls that exercising your free will, then it is legally exercising your free will. Or we're at a point where the law doesn't even matter anymore.
Shame on them.
Yep. This is the truth. This is actually, this happens. It happens frequently with several people who are in this school, and the teachers are not allowed to say, hey, you got to stop that. Nope. No. They can get fired for that. Legit fired. This is where we're at, people. This is where
disgusting.
we're at.
I would call the police if the kid wouldn't stop doing it, whether he did or not. I don't even know how to. I mean, I guess you get your principal. I'm sure the school has a policy like
the principal is the one that tells the teacher you will get fired if you tell them to stop.
Then
so who's putting
the police to protect the other children? As a teacher, as an adult in that situation, you would need to remove the other children, call the police, and have the police handle the person that is violating and trying to bring harm to these other children. You still have a responsibility to protect those other children in the room.
You see, we all talk about our free will and our own inalienable rights to exercise as we see fit, and they've manipulated that almost in a way here where you are not allowed to infringe on this child's free rights, free will, and his right to do as he pleases.
Well, then that's like saying he could come up and murder me because he wants to, and that's his free right and his free will.
I don't know where the line is. I don't know where the line is.
Apparently no one knows where the line is. The line is that's a criminal act, and there's a law about exposing yourself in public. That's the line. It's already been drawn.
Say something, get fired.
Well, then get fired and I'll sue your ass.
I don't think a lot of people are of that mindset right now. I mean, I don't understand that. But these are actual facts that were told to me from a teacher in the school.
It's insane. Completely insane.
It's insane, people. It's going. So this just ties back to what we were saying a minute ago, how it is going sideways fast.
Good. Burn it down. Rip the bandage. Let's go, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. All right, guys. Well, it's going to be an exciting week. We will be at Westwoods this weekend in Peoria. I'm excited to see everybody there. I've got to get packing right after this, finish up my packing and all my goodies. I'm bringing some goodies that were left to me by my dad.
Nice. Oh, I like that. I like that.
Bringing a little bit of extra things. I've got some really cool things from the Epic Times that I'm bringing. I've got some swag. I know Ken Hieronymus from, he's an ambassador for Ballet Wallets, is coming and bringing some stuff. Westwood's got some stuff. We've got some Monarch swag. We've got lots of stuff giveaway. Like I said, copper and silver that will be successful and safely brought to Illinois onto an airplane. And
I guarantee you, though, the best thing you're going to walk away with this is from one of these meetups is the people you meet and the conversations you have. There's nothing that's going to beat that. I mean,
I agree.
There's nothing you're going to get from there that's going to be as good as the friends you're going to make, the connections you're going to make, the like-minded people you're going to sit, have a couple drinks with, bond with. And from there, you walk away with these connections to these awesome people who are of the same mindset. And it's the best feeling. It's a whole nother family. And that's by far my favorite. Although I'm wearing swag from a meetup, but that is literally
well,
my
there's
favorite
bonuses too. Yeah,
there are bonuses.
You can do that and get the shirt. That's okay. And yeah, we definitely have a great time. We share, resources with each other, things that we found out that are working for us, connecting. Iceman says, you help keep me sane. I get it. Like when we're in this crazy world and we're like, nothing's making sense. Well, when we can come together and put these pieces together and say, okay, here's what's really going on. And what do you believe? And what's the truth in all this?
You're not going crazy. It really is that messed up out there. Yeah. It really is that messed up. You're not going crazy.
This really is happening.
Yep.
This really is happening. We do still have a couple seats at the VIP dinner. So you can go to litecoinlisa.net and click on the contact me button. That's another thing I have to do tonight is send out all those invoices for people to pay me.
Definitely.
That will probably, that'll keep going as long as there's a seat. We'll even extend that into the day of the event, as long as we have seats for it. So
get them while you can. Last time I was at the one that was sold out fast. So get them while you can, people. Help support the channel. Help support Lisa and Clint Westwood and what they're doing, spreading this word, awakening people, speaking to other people, teaching other people, building this community so that we can all be together and go through this all as a group rather than alone spinning around in the middle of the road by yourself.
Absolutely. It's a lot of fun too.
It is a lot of fun.
All right. Well, we'll see you tomorrow, you guys. My goal is to get to Westwood's by the normal time, but that means I have to get up at like 4 a.m. So we will do our very best. We might have a little bit later show tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to have to stop. And I don't know if I can do 4 a.m. But then a lot of times I'm so excited to get there. I won't be able to sleep anyway. So
there you go.
We may just get up and get on the road and head that way.
Go for it.
Yeah. We'll see you guys later. Thanks, public. Thanks for everything. Thanks for all the insight. You guys remember, get your assets in your own possession. We are going through, I think, some big stuff this week. So watch out for that geomagnetic storm today. Take care.